To the next video. In today's video I will show you how to use preferences data store to store key value data for your Godot game for Android. So we will be creating an Android plugin for this to store key value data basically in preferences data store. So preferences data store is the native way of storing key value data in Android. So firstly I will show you guys the demo. So I have two buttons, save data and get data, and I have label, and once I try to do get data, it will try to show that data inside our label. So firstly I'll show save some data. So once I click on save data, it saves data for a particular key, and when I click on get data, I try to fetch data for that particular key. So here you can see now the label has been changed to en. So I was saving the name en while calling save data. So if you see my code over here, this is my key and this is my value, and while I press the second button, I am trying to get this particular key. So yeah, let's look at the implementation on how to do so. Start by looking at the code. So first what you have to do, open Android Studio, create an Android project. It can be an empty views project or a Jetpack Compose project, doesn't really matter. Once you do that, you will have to go to this Android drop down and just right click on your app, new module, select Android library, give it some name. I have given it as my library. Give some package name as well and click on finish. I have already created my library, that's why I won't create it again. Once you do that, I have created some cheat sheet from the Godot documentation so that I can quickly copy paste the relevant code. So first you have to add this dependency. Now I'm using Godot 4.2.1, that's why in this dependency version also I'm using 4.2.1. if you are using some higher version, make sure you use that higher version. You can find the exact version name on Maven Central as well. So here you can see I have added this Godot dependency. I also need to add this data store dependency, which is like storing key value pair inside our app. So I have added that, and then you will have to click on sync now at the top. So once that is done, what you will have to do is go to your library, go to this Kotlin Java folder, and here firstly create this my preferences.kt. so this is the preferences file which will help us to store key value data. So here you can see first we get access to our data store using this context.use preferences data store, and I have given it a name as my_store. you can give whatever name feels right to you. Next, I have created a method for saving string data and getting string data. So saving string data takes a key value pair, and it helps us to save the data for that particular key, and for getting we only require the key and you get the data as well. And I have also even though I'm not using this in my example, but I have also shown you how to do it for int as well. So in case you are curious how to do it for int, you can use something like this. And here we are creating a singleton for our my preferences class. So yeah, so that's it on this my preferences.kt file. Next you will have to create a Godot Android plugin which will extend from Godot plugin, as well as a lifecycle owner. We require this lifecycle owner because we will making use of coroutines and lifecycle scope. So for that this is the boilerplate code for it for lifecycle. Then we are creating a reference for our my preferences file. We are initializing it as soon as this Godot setup is completed. I have given the plugin name as my plugin, but you can give whatever you want, but make sure you remember this because we will be using this in future steps as well. Next, I have created two methods. So these methods will be called from the Godot side, that's why I have marked it as @used by Godot. Save data, which will take key value pair, and just call the save string data of our preferences class. And here I have overridden the get plugin signals. So this is a test signal which will help us to send data from our Android plugin to the Godot side. And again I have created another method called get data, which will take the key, and once we get the data I'm emitting a signal. So this should be the same, okay, and that's how you will fetch data on the Godot side. Next you will have to go to the project drop down, go to your my library folder again, and here you have to create a separate folder called export scripts template. Here in that create a file called export_plugin.gd, and I have literally copy pasted this from the documentation. Only thing which you have to remember is this should be your plugin name, whatever you have given over here, and you have to add this extra bit of code which is not present in the documentation. This is required because we are adding extra dependency in build.gradle for our preferences data store. Also, even though we are not adding this dependency of coroutines and lifecycle, these are, we need to add this, because if you don't add this, you get a crash when you are trying to access plugin from the Godot side. That's why I have added this as well. So this is for coroutines and this is for lifecycle, so add this as well. So yeah, that's it on the export plugin.gd file. Then you will have to go to plugin.cfg, again create in the same folder a file called plugin.cfg. Again copy paste everything from the docs, and here I have named the, again this should be your plugin name, description, author you can change whatever you feel like. Next you will have to go to this src main android manifest.xml, and here you will have to copy this application tag. And again this I have copied from docs, but this should be your plugin name and this should be your package name. So if you want to know what your package name is, you can just go to this file, copy paste this package name over here and copy this plugin name. Okay, so once that is done, so let's see what's the next step. So the next step is we just have to, okay, so we are done with this, we are done with this, we are done with this. So okay, you will have to open your terminal. So you will have to open your terminal, then go to your Android project inside your terminal, not to your Android library. So go cd to your Android project inside your terminal and then run this command. Once you run this command, you will have to go to your library, build, outputs, AR. Here you should see these two files. Now you will have to copy these two files on the Godot side as well. So what you can do is create your Godot project. Then once you create the Godot project, just click on project, install Android build template. I have already done that. Then click on export, click add Android. I have already added it. Then I have already added it, and then click on fix import. You might be seeing a warning at the bottom, just click on that. I have already done that as well. Check this use Gradle build and you can select whatever architecture your Android is running on. If you don't know, just select all 4 of those. Once that is done, you will create a folder called add-ons. Inside that, create a folder with your plugin name, okay, and then create a bin folder. Inside that, create debug and release, and inside the debug folder you will have to copy that debug AR file. So I will show you: add-ons, my plugins, bin, debug, and inside the debug folder I will copy my plugin-debug.ar. but make sure you change this name to whatever is your plugin name. So whatever is your plugin name -debug.ar. Similarly, copy that a release AR file also inside the release folder. Again, whatever is your plugin name -release.ar. Then inside this my plugin folder you will have to copy these two files as well, which we had created on the Android side. So if you remember, we had created this file and export plugin.gd. So this, copy these two files over here as well inside your plugin folder, my plugin folder. Once that is done, go to project settings, and here you will have to click on plugins and make sure you enable this. Once that is done, here you can see inside my layout I have just taken 2 buttons and 1 label, and if you see the code for it, this again should be your plugin name, and here we are instantiating our plugin. And on one first button press I am saving. So this is the key, this is the value, and here for getting the data, this is the key. And once we get the signal, we are just displaying it inside our label. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.